Well, hey everybody, welcome to Saturday Hockey Talk. And it's an historical day today, turns out. Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Blue Blanc Rouge. So, Donald Trump finally managed to screw up my broadcast. Anyways, if you haven't heard the news, I'm not telling you what it is now, but yeah. So by the way, if you're here, say hi in the chat, and we're gonna talk about. It's an awkward opening. I can't help it. We're gonna talk about whatever you guys want to. It's question and answer, which means if you have questions, I got answers. Best I can tell you. So that's what we're doing tonight. There's not a lot happening in Habs world right now. Or like in the hockey world in general. I mean, there's a lot of rumor, a lot of this and that, but there's nothing really happening, which is par for the course in mid-July. So that's where we're at. But if you have any questions about anything, ask me. If I know it, I'm going to tell you what I know. I can tell you what I think. I can tell you what I've heard. And I can tell you sometimes I don't know anything about it. So that's where we're at. So let's use here. Say hi in the chat. That'd be great. And we got Phil, who I've been kind of talking with on here. Trade Tard up. It's you, eh? Tard up is hard to do on the best of Rick's. Yeah, well, I thought it's just I should have played this when they were doing, at the draft, and I saw it there when I was putting up this show, and I thought, yeah, well, why not? It's never too late. Hey, Red. Hey, Huzu. How's it going? Been a while. Good to see you out there. So, I guess in advance, if you want to ask me about what happened tonight, like an hour ago, maybe a little over, you can. I might give you my opinion quickly, but I don't really want to talk about it here. I just imagine a lot of people probably want to talk about that, but we're here to talk about hockey. Any rumors you've heard, if you want to ask me about them. If you read our buddy there, Treg Wilson, who writes for the Hockey Writers, he just did a mailbag himself, a question and answer, and I am first question right off the top. You'll see my name there. And yeah, so check that out. I don't have a link for it. I should have put a link up here, but it's on the Hockey Writers site, so check it out. Yeah. And what else? Who's Hage comparable? Oh, did I see right when if I remember correctly, I should say, one of them I think was Nick Suzuki. So that was a comparable. I don't know all of the comparables on him, though. But suffice it to say, he has top six potential, second line center potential because he's a center, but he can play wing. A really good pick. This guy was ranked anywhere from 20 to 29, I think, the highest one I saw. So he was ranked right in there where Montreal got him. He had fallen out because of other late risers. And I remember reading something that there were a lot of people thought this kid could go in the top 10 at some point, probably mid-season. So a really good pick. A Braden Point, I'm good with that. You're glad the Habs rejected a trade from the Blackhawks for the 5th overall pick because they wanted Demidov as well. And that's why then the Blackhawks tried to get the 4th pick as well as having the second one. Flyers tried for the 4th pick. There were a couple teams that tried to get that once it was known for sure Montreal was going after Demidov at 5th. You would have picked Surin instead of Hage? Sure. I mean, maybe you're right. We won't know for, at least 5 years to really look back and go, okay, who was the better? I don't know that you're wrong. I don't know that whatever, but I'm confident in the Hage pick. Guru, hey, Guru. How's it going, man? Good to see you out there. Without reception for 10 days. Man, that's really hard. You got a lot to catch up on. Although you got the big news because he texted me about it. So, yeah. Who's who? I don't see those things on here. They don't. Streamyard doesn't show me the actual, whatever that's called again. But hey, awesome. No, he's not. I don't know how you could be killed in a fake as fuck attempt, but hey, that's my opinion. Yeah, there were French players drafted, though, Renegade Man. Sacha Boisvert. I want to say, I don't know if Cole Baudouin is French, a Quebec French guy or not. This is what I say to that. If the French media is upset that Montreal didn't draft French players and aren't happy with Hage, who is based, I mean, his family's all from Quebec, speaks French, they should be happy. I say this, then the Q needs to get better. It's not on the teams if the players aren't good enough. It's on the Q to get the players better. That's what I got to say. Red, you like Owen Protz? Owen Protz, look, as a matter of fact, I'm working on just about finished. I have a short intro to film, and I've got a draft pick report card, Habs draft pick report card, coming out tomorrow morning. So, yeah, I've got Protz there. He's not going to be ready next year or the year after. It'll be a few years, but I mean, he looks like I think most of the after first round picks were high risk, high reward types, right? So, yeah, they might not make it, but if they do, they should be pretty good. So Protz looks like a good one. Cole Baudouin from Ottawa. Okay, that's what I wasn't sure of. Next year, Q will be better. This was a poor group. And that's, Aiken, that's very possible, right? That happens. But that's what I say. If they're not good enough, it's not on the NHL teams. That's on the league then. Better coaching, whatever it is, something might be amiss, but I don't blame it on any teams. Why should Montreal draft a player just because he's French? We've seen that happen before. It doesn't go well. Even though they took chances, after first round, they didn't have a second round pick. They got a really solid pipeline, rated number 2 in the league for prospects. So they took some chances and went after guys that wouldn't graduate right away. That would take a few years till they would graduate. And might not hit, but if they do, they should be pretty good. That's how I saw it. If you agree with me or not, I don't know, but let me know here in the chat. If you're here, say hi. Hi, Rick. You know what happened tonight? I'm trying not to talk about it, and I don't really want to talk about it. But we have all kinds of hockey. Ask me about anything. Doesn't have to be Habs hockey. It could be anything in the NHL you want to know. I may know about it. The Louis LeBlanc disaster really rings a bell. And I mean, this was a bilingual kid. It wasn't a French kid necessarily, but he had the French name, and that's what mattered to them. It's all about looks anyways. There's no substance to this Quebec separation and all. There's no substance to that garbage. It's all bullshit. Like people that want to control people. And the people that vote for that and believe in that, and this is my political message, you're just sheep, and they're using you here in Quebec. My name is Rick Seligman, and I approve this message. Everybody left? Everybody left? Look at that. Everybody left. No, not everybody. But listen, if you're here, say hi. Got a question? I got answers. I hope for your question. I might. I should. I could. But you got to talk to me here in the chat, my friends. I guess I'm not interesting enough tonight. Once the big news came out, I figured it's going to be tough to get. People are going to be looking that shit up. More Rutger McGroarty rumors. Okay, this is my stance on Rutger McGroarty. He's what, a 19, 20-year-old kid, never played in the NHL, and wants to dictate to the teams that he's a top-line player, or at least top six, right off the bat. Doesn't have to earn shit. You know what I say to that? I'm not interested in that guy. I don't care how good he is. I'm not interested in an entitled little piece of shit hockey player thinks he's better than everybody else. That's how I see it. Apparently, though, Montreal was interested. I like Treg's take on that because that was my question. There was about Rutger McGroarty and what he thinks a trade would look like and all that. And he thinks Montreal was interested and made an offer, but it was before they drafted Demidov. And now that they did get Demidov, they might not be as interested in McGroarty because, Demidov will be here like for sure, after next season. But, I mean, there's rumor out there. I don't know if it's rumor by like any people are in the know, but there's rumor that Montreal may try to buy his contract from the KHL team and get him here for this season coming. If that happens, I doubt they'd make a trade where they'd be giving up a lot to get that kid. And personally, I mean, apparently they were interested. I don't see it. I mean, the character, maybe they figure they can change him around. I don't know. I just don't like a kid that says, yeah, I'm going to play on the first line or I'm not playing for you. And he's never played in the NHL before. Don't think so. Habs should be in the bottom 10 next year. I'm not saying that's not possible because of course it is. I think they're going to be around 12th. I said that going into last season. I was wrong, but I mean, who could figure for the Doc injury? I think that's where they're going to finish this year. I think they're going to have that season that I thought they'd have last year. I think that's the season they have this year. So I'm saying, 12, 11, 13, somewhere in there. But could they be in the bottom 10 at the end? Sure, they could. It could happen. Injuries. I mean, who knows what the season's going to look like till it happens. I got to scroll a little bit. They're saying Meshar plus. Yeah, but apparently the what you saw there, that offer, that was turned down, I heard, by Winnipeg, and they wanted more. Rumors on Seth Jarvis being offer sheeted by the Habs. Who? That's a new rumor on me. I wouldn't buy into an offer sheet rumor. I wouldn't. Especially, isn't that Carolina again? I wouldn't buy into an offer sheet rumor personally. You think the McGroarty thing is overblown in the media? Yes, that's fine. I mean, but I think there's an age difference between us, Aiken, and I can see that as being probably an age gap thing. Where you younger guys understand that stance more than I do. I just don't. But I know in talking to younger guys, I mean, I work with 4 of them. They don't have the same opinion necessarily as me. So, yeah, I think that's an age gap thing. You don't think it's linked to Demidov? Well, listen, we'll see. There's no transfer agreement between the KHL and NHL? What are you talking about? How did you think Michkov came over early? If they can do that, they can do what I'm talking. I'm not saying it's going to happen because most of those rumors are coming from fans, the odd minor pundit, but the talk is starting to happen with that. Who knows where that'll go? I'm just saying, sure, if that could happen, sure, let Montreal do that. I'm great with that. I don't know if it'll happen, though. Hockey Guy predicted right on the playoff bubble, 16th. As much as I just said, I think in 12th, whatever, but if they were in the bottom 10, I think that's possibility too. I think it's an unknown because we haven't seen a full season with Doc. Doc and Newhook, solid second line. Lane Hudson. We haven't seen that, and what kind of who knows? It could be good like that. I just kind of think they're going to make a run, and at some point, probably early March, late February, they start to tail off, and they finish, a few places out of a wild card. That's how I see it. Again, listen, you could be right. I can't argue whether that is accurate or not. I didn't read that, and whatever. I just, from what I've read, I don't like the attitude. The fact that Montreal was interested in him, if that's true, it gives me, a reason to pause for a second, think about it. But, I'm going to stick with what I said. No, not there. He wants top 6 for sure. Rucker thinks he's Bedard or Celebrini. Poor skater and mediocre stick handling. Not worth the high price. Yeah, see, I don't know details for that, but I'll agree. It's not going to be, in my opinion, it's not going to be worth the high price it's going to cost. Right? I'm okay with what I've heard if that's it, but I also heard that wasn't enough. And that's why it didn't get done. Is that true or not? I don't know 100%, but I've read this, and it makes sense. Don't understand why every American sports magazine sees the Habs losing points next season. Didn't they get slightly better? Do you think the division improved more than we did? Okay, this is what I think. I think a lot of, from what I've seen out there, because I put out my early predictions. If you haven't seen the video, it's done pretty well. But a very early next season final standings predictions with points. And there's 2 versions. There's a long one where I give my explanations why. It's on Talking Habs. And there's a short one with it's musical. It's music in the background, and it all gets put up there. It's quick. It's 3.5 minutes. Check it out. Either one, whichever one you want. Now, why am I saying that? Oh, yeah. I see a lot of people saying they think Ottawa has improved more than I see it, and they may be right. I have Buffalo actually falling also below Montreal. Is that right? I don't know. I don't agree with people that think Montreal will finish last in the division, though. I don't think they will. I see them having about 88 points and finishing in 6th in the division. That's where I have them. Michkov came over early on compassionate grounds. Rottenberg and the chairman of SCA released him because his father worked there, and it was his dream to see his son play in the NHL before he died. And if you believe that anybody over there in Russia that gave that bullshit story, you believe that? No. What happened was the Flyers probably ponied up $1 million in American money, and they took that. I don't believe that kind of it's nice. It sounds nice, and it's compassionate, sure, but you believe that from them? I don't for a second. Not for a second. It was money. They wanted money. Flyers ponied up. That's what I think happened. Renegade Man, it's all about opinion, right? You have your opinion, I've got mine. Who's right? Until the end of next season, we don't know. And listen, I don't expect to be really 100%. I don't expect even to be close. Uh, you know, I don't usually go back and check on my early predictions like that. But I don't know that I'll be that accurate. And it was for fun. Aiken, that's okay. I could be 100% wrong. I'm cool with that. ABL, crazy shit. If you think it's real and it really happened, like that was a real attempt, okay, you can. I, for one, not for a fucking second do I believe that was real. That was a real attempt. Not for a second. It's not illegal. Aiken, it's not illegal to people. Players have bought out their contracts like that. It's not illegal. Sure, he was released on compassionate grounds. Sure. Sounds nice. Makes them look good. And everybody's happy. That's fine. You can believe what you want. I'm not telling you not to believe that. I'm just telling you I don't. That's all I'm telling you. There is a way to buy out a contract and get a guy here early. I'm sorry. I believe that's true. I believe that's true. Could I be wrong? Of course, I could be wrong. But I believe that's true. And you're telling me that's not going to change my mind. So let's move on to another subject. It'd be great. Like I said, whatever you want to talk about to a certain point, it's not going to go anywhere. But I mean, you can have your opinion and it's fine. I could be wrong. BL, I'm in agreement with you on that. I think it is trouble, and I hope they stay away. I think the price is too high anyway. And now that they did draft Demidov, from what I understand, is the interest might not be there the way it was. But apparently there was interest. Does that tell me the kid might not be as bad? Whatever, I don't know. I would think that if Montreal was going after him and they wanted him, then maybe I could be wrong on his character. I would hope I am for his sake anyway. But I don't know. I don't like what he did. Gots to earns the ice you gets. That's how I say it. So wants to earn top line or top six, come in, play where they play you, earn it. But I'm old school that way, as is BL, I'm quite sure. Right? And I said earlier, I think depending on your age, you might see it a little differently, right? And I get that. I do get it, but I'm still believe what I believe. Well, but Aiken, not everybody's situation over there is the same. And I'm not saying they're going to do it. This is just a rumor that's out there. And I said, I don't know the validity of it. It's probably not valid. Yeah, I don't want to argue that point. You could be right. I haven't looked it up, but from what I know off the top of my head, I believe there's a way. Berube had a meeting with Marner and don't know what came of it. Who cares? Honestly, as long as he doesn't come here, I don't care. I don't care where he goes. I don't care what they get for him. I don't care if he stays there. I actually rather him stay there because it's kind of more, it's funnier. Is that a risk for all U.S. college hockey players and American? I don't know if that's true, Renegade Man. I think everybody's, everybody's an individual. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you're right. Sometimes, it's on an individual basis. Aiken, well, I said that, didn't I? Though I know, but I've seen a couple of, like I said, a little minor pundits, but there's still. So what I said was, this talk is starting to happen. Let's see where it goes. I don't know. I didn't make anything of it that it wasn't. I try not to be like that in general. They're extending Crosby 3 years. That would be a surprise to me. Why? Because that team can't rebuild until Crosby's gone. Why would they extend him 3 years? There's no risk drafting USHL in Montreal, maybe in Winnipeg and Calgary, but not here. I'm not sure the reference there. Why the USHL? And why would Winnipeg not? Like, what's the difference? First of all, there is some risk in drafting anybody at that age. So, it's supposed to be announced. To me, it's a shocker there. Like, I mean, I get that, Crosby and Penguins are synonymous. But, man, you need to do a rebuild. And you can't. Not until Crosby, Malkin, and probably Carlson now are gone. Anyway, listen, it's run by Kyle Dubas. So nothing would surprise me totally over there in Pittsburgh now. But hey, to everybody who said, no, Dubas is good. Hey. Calgary are now careful with USHL players. They passed on Bullion because of what Fox and the other American players they did. Yeah, but maybe that says more about the franchise, Calgary as a franchise. Maybe they're doing something wrong. And then again, as I always say, maybe you're right. I mean, it's something I hadn't heard of before with them. But I mean, I look at it and go, well, Calgary is not the greatest franchise right now. Maybe they just don't want to play there because maybe management's not good. Ownership, something. But teams do that sometimes, right? Maybe they have some bad experiences with drafting players from a certain, and they stop drafting from there. Calgary, I think now more of a. You think only a semi rebuild? Like it's more than a semi rebuild, don't you think? But yeah, they went from I mean, isn't that Trey Living's fault? The guy's in Toronto now, so. Do I see Tampa Bay regressing, or do you see them being competitive next year? They got Gensel, they lost Sergachev, and they lost a bunch of pieces. Actually, I'm not saying. I mean, Stamkos, big one. They're not all huge pieces, but they lost a lot of pieces. I don't think they replaced everything, but they did get Jake Gensel. So yeah, I think there's a good, strong possibility of a regression with Tampa Bay, and possibly I don't have them falling out in my predictions, but I think I say in there that wouldn't surprise me. So yeah, a regression in my opinion. They played a lot of playoff hockey. Like, they played a lot of hockey over the last 7 years. A lot of these guys have been there, and it's catching up to them. Plus, their cap problems and trying to fix that, and it catches up to you after a while. Is Calgary's pick next year protected? Top 10. It wouldn't be 15. Top 10 protect. Do they do top 15 protected? Maybe. I want to say it is. I think it was when we had Florida's first pick. It wasn't protected, but I believe Calgary's is. BL, I agree with that. That New Jersey will move back into the playoffs this year. I think they made, they've got a little bit better goaltending. They improved their defense. And those were the areas that were the big problems last year and failed them. So, yeah, I think that's enough to push them into at least a wild card. Hey there, Joe. How's it going, Joe? All the way. That's our person from the future. What is Tyler Thorpe's upside? And I don't want to give away all my video for tomorrow. I got that video coming out tomorrow. Do I talk about his upside? Let me take a look and see if I do. I don't know that I go specifically to upside and that kind of stuff. I give you from scouting reports what I've gathered, what I thought were important things to mention about him. And then you can make up your mind. I think for every player but one, the 9th pick they made, I didn't get any highlights for him for some reason. I've got some highlights from all of these guys in there as well. So yeah, what's his upside? I mean, I don't know. I think it's with most of these picks, if not all of the 8 picks after the first round, I think they're high risk, high reward types, right? So sure, they might not make it, but if they do, they should be pretty good. So that's what I'll say. And Thorpe he's a big guy, isn't he? He's one of those big ones. Yeah, he's like 6'5", 216. So he's a big kid. If he can put the skills and all that together, I mean, that's a good pick. Markstrom is an up-and-down goalie. It's not the end of the world, I guess, if they have a plan for the guy to replace him there. But, yeah, I think Markstrom, he struggles at times. He has up-and-down seasons. Big night last night and big day today as well. If you're talking about it in the U.S., that's today. What was last night? You like Thorpe, he's raw. Well, that's the thing with these picks. So that's, they're not going to be ready next year or the year after that. It's going to take a few. And that's when Montreal wants them to be like, so it makes for a little bit of higher risk. And if they hit, huge reward. Big day for you personally, you're saying. Always good. I personally don't go and do much, but that's me. I'm a homebody. There's plenty of nights, though, that I would go, geez, I wish I was doing something. But Koivu ceiling is probably 4th liner in Laval at the moment, in your opinion. Yeah, I don't know that you can say that. I think Koivu has potential to be a 3rd liner. I don't know about higher than that necessarily, but I think he's got some potential. I love the pick because, Koivu's kid. I love the pick, and I think there's potential there. It's a high risk, high reward type thing. But I think they all are. Koivu on down are like that. Koivu top 6 forward for you? He could be. I'm not saying he can't be, but he's got some work to do. It's going to take a little while. But no, I love the pick. He's not a small guy. He is 6 feet or 6'1", depending on where you see. So that's not small. You're thinking of his dad, who was on the small side. No, the son is definitely big enough. Where he's small is his weight. I think he's 165 pounds. So he'll have to be in the weight room and, putting on some muscle. But he's got the height. Top 6 in Laval, I think, yeah. I think he could make the Habs. I think he could. I don't know if he will. I think he has potential to. Do I like Logan Sawyer? I'm going to look and see what I wrote before I say that. Yeah, I gave him a decent grade. I mean, he's got him too. It's like he's got some really good things about him, and but he's it's high risk, high reward. Same thing there. And time, because I mean, if he hits, it's still you're looking at 4-5 years down the road. From what you've seen about, we're still talking Koivu. He doesn't have something set that he wants to do, skill guy or checker, because he's a two-way 200-foot game kind of guy. Kind of like, I mean, Saku was as well. From what I understand, he has a really good shot, and he's got tools that can be developed. Will they? I mean, that's the unknown. We don't know. But no, I really like the pick. I personally don't think they picked him just because he's Koivu's kid. I don't. As a matter of fact, they have assigned a new European guy to work over there in Finland, in Koivu's town, to work with him and to work doing other things in Europe. But right there, I mean, that's not a coincidence. So I think they have, I think they really like him. Let me see. What is it? Could the Habs be a bit more competitive and even end up being off the bottom of the division? Well, my prediction videos are out there. One on each channel, very different videos, and length is very different as well. Yeah, I have them in 6th finishing. So I have them off the bottom. And I think it came out to like 12th over from the bottom as far as the draft goes. You might hear my cat meowing again because that's what my cat loves to do. Just walk around meowing at things. You don't, your opinion though? Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly, Aiken. Sorry. For me, Sawyer was a first round kid, says Red. And we got him 78th. You think he was a first round kid that fell to 78th? I don't know that I agree with that. But hey, we all have our own opinions and see players differently, really, right? Who's to say you're wrong and who's to say I'm right? It's 5 years from now. Justin Poirier would have been a nice pick. I don't think at 21 when they moved up to 21. At 26, you're probably right, but I don't think at 21. And they moved up to 21 to get Michael Hage, but they also did try to move the 21 up higher to get apparently Cole Eiserman. But that didn't work out, and they were happy to get Hage. But I don't think Poirier was a good pick at 21. That's what I want to say. Alexander Zetterberg undrafted. Yeah, that's Zetterberg's kid. I don't know much about him, to be very honest, except that his dad was Zetterberg. Poirier has a bit of size issue though, and he's pretty much like a goal scorer. I don't know. I'm not saying he won't make it, but I know he's on the small side, but he's really offensively. I know he's definitely got the talent. Do I see Riley Kidney being done with the Habs because he is far down the depth chart? Could be. I don't know. I haven't really heard much about him lately. Still could be a good trade piece to add into a trade somewhere, or they won't qualify him next year or when they have to or whatever. I don't know how that works. But you're right. He's falling down. Matt Vader. Yeah. He's been shot. Woohoo. Like, oh, well. Been shot. Fake as fuck, but he's been shot. Okay. Poirier is one of the youngest guys at the draft. 50 goal scorer, too. Definitely has the offensive, the goal scoring, definitely. And he's young, and that's good, too. But, I mean, he's on the small side, if I'm correct. Is it not? 5'9", something like that? Poirier went in the 5th round. Well, see, that's why. I mean, he fell because he's a bit one-dimensional, from what I've read, and he's small. Doesn't mean he's not talented. Don't forget, this draft was big guys. It was clear teams made it, was a premium. Size was a premium. I don't know if I'm wording that right, but and they drafted. Let me see what I heard. Montreal has more 5'10" and under players than got drafted at the draft this year, all 7 rounds. Riley Kidney played well until he got hurt. Well, that's maybe one of the reasons why he's sort of fallen down a little bit on the chart. Zetterberg was projected in the 2nd round, and we got him. That's cool. Who knows where he could be an NHLer. I don't know. I don't know enough about his game and everything. I got to scroll here. I forget who BL was talking about. Talking about, Justin Poirier still. Listen, if you saw the podcast, the Hab Normals podcast, it was just me and Harry. We did our mock draft for the Habs. We both had him, Koivu, going to the Habs at 70th pick. So I know he's undrafted and we signed him, Red. I know. I don't know much else, though. Didn't they sign him? Or was it to a tryout? I don't know. I just saw some headlines. I did not read the stories about him. Any news up there on a possible Sprong signing as a free agent? No. But interesting, it's funny because someone, and I don't remember who this was talking about it on Twitter and said, maybe Daniel Sprong. And I answered, Harry would love that because Harry loves Sprong. Sprong might make sense. You sign him 1, maybe 2-year contract. He's a guy that can score goals, plays the wing. Like, I could see that being a short-term, 1 year, maybe 2-year thing until Demidov gets here and, gets adjusted. But again, I don't know a ton about him. But Harry loves him. Harry knows a ton about him. I don't know a ton about him. The draft was mainly large forwards and defensemen. Yeah, size was premium at the draft. Kind of reminiscent of the old Goon days when, guys didn't have to play. They couldn't play, but they were drafted and they were out there. And so I hope they don't go back to that because that's ridiculous. He scores goals, but it'll cost you the same amount, maybe even more. Who are we talking about? I'm not keen on all the hype for McGroarty. Not me neither. I hope they stay away from McGroarty. There's no hype. I don't know. There's some hype from fans, but no, it's mostly rumors. You're right, but I'd stay away. Zetterberg was raised in Montreal. Is that what you're saying? That might be one of the reasons they signed him. I don't know enough about him, honestly, as a player. I don't. Yeah, Joe, a lot of rumor hype about McGroarty. Too much. You're talking about the guy who was mentioned before. If you actually type his name, it'd be a lot easier for me to know who you're talking about, Aiken. Sorry. By the way, if you are here still and you're having fun, please give a thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you're new, hey, consider subscribing. And I should remember to do this more often. But if you'd like a t-shirt like I'm wearing, Talking Habs t-shirt, we got 2 designs. This time I'm going to put them like this. These 2 designs are both available. The design on the left, like the one I'm wearing, is $35 plus tax, plus shipping. And the other one is $40 plus tax and shipping. If you're interested, send an email to the email in the description, talkinghabs@gmx.com. And I'll get you all the information on how to get one of these beautiful shirts. And they are really nice shirts. They wash well. They are comfortable and soft. And I love these shirts. And you can have one too. And I finally got one off to Lucas. He won a couple months ago. We met today. He came and picked it up. I got to get one to Sean. And I still owe Luna one. I got to get one off to her. If Luna, if you happen to be watching, I haven't forgotten. It's kind of not easy right now. All right, where was I? Where's the comments? Comments. There you go. Where was I? You typed it before your statements. Okay, but and I scroll and I got to try to figure. I'm sorry. You want me? Sprong? Okay, Sprong. There you go. Now I got you. Let's see. Biel says played midget espoir in Quebec, then played 4 years in the queue with Charlottetown. Second round pick by Pittsburgh. Who again are we talking about, Biel? Zetterberg? No. Who are we talking about? You're talking about Sprong, not Zetterberg. I'm lost. Sprong scores. He's a goal scorer. It's what Montreal needs on the wing. A short-term contract. I can see it. That's all I can say. I can see it. I'm not saying they'll do it. Don't know, but it wouldn't shock me. I don't think he'd be expensive either. Not that Montreal doesn't have money. They do, but I don't think he'd be expensive. He's the kind of guy that moves around a lot too. So, 1 or 2 years, I'm sure that's possible with him. And yeah, there you go. BL, I finally got it. You are talking about Sprong, as was I just now. What else we want to talk about? Don't forget, while I'm waiting, Habs draft pick report card. Just about finished now. I just have to record a very short intro, and everything else is done, edited, and ready to go. It will be out tomorrow. Don't forget to look for it. And as always, please let me know what you think. He moves around a lot, and yeah, I get it. But if you sign him for a year, though, I mean, there's no risk. He's not going to get a lot of money. I think there's no risk there. By the way, Biel, I don't know if you saw the my early predictions, final standing predictions video. The one on the DPWM channel is 3.5 minutes. It is music. And it's that song you told me in a comment you really liked, and it was just a piece of it. It's the whole song. So if you want to hear that whole song, go check out that video. With you in mind, I put that song. I had a notification. I heard a ding. That was a Facebook or chat group there. How am I doing so far? If you're here and you're not talking to me, well, shame on you. You should be talking to me. No, I mean, you don't have to. But if you have anything you want to know that we haven't talked about here, if I could help with that, please ask a question, and I will answer if I can. If I can't, as always, I will tell you I don't know. Not ashamed to say I don't know about something. And I definitely don't make things up. I may talk about stuff I've read that, it's not valid stuff. I don't know sometimes, but I don't make things up. I don't find any value in that. I hate, one of the things I hate the most on Twitter is these idiots that like to put out these fake stories just to catch people with it. I fucking hate that. And I also hate the ones that, the fake insiders that got all this information. It's bullshit. So yeah, I don't do that shit. Puck around one or have normals or don't puck with media. Don't puck with media. That channel is now DPWM. Yeah, I put a early final standings and points prediction video there. You'll see it's 3.5 minutes. It's very short. Yeah, it's music and it shows all my predictions. It's done very differently than the other channel. One, it's just shows you my my predictions. The other one, I explain why I'm predicting it. And no music on the other one, only voiceover. You don't actually have to see my ugly mug on the other one or this short one, either one. It's just the song. You said you really like that music, and I only put a piece of it. Yeah, that's got the whole song. It's my favorite piece of music I found on YouTube copyright-free music. How likely for the Laval Rocket to go to the AHL playoffs in the upcoming season? I think, more likely than last year. Why? Because the players that are there now, they keep getting a little bit better every year, right? So I think the group that is likely to be there should be pretty good, and they should make the playoffs. It's obviously not written in stone, though. They're going to have a new coach. We don't know who that is yet. That could play a part. So there's that. But I think the players in general that are going to be there are going to be a little bit better than even last year. Going to have Reinbacher there probably most of the year. Mayu, same thing. For his second year. I don't know how long, but he'll be there for a good part. Yeah, I think they'll do better. And they just missed the playoffs. They didn't fall far from the playoffs this past season. So I think if they do better, it means they're in the playoffs. Remember, excuse me, we don't have the second best prospect pool in the league for nothing. Part of that is players that are down there. Guru, yeah, I do the same. I either just unfollow or mute or block if they really. But I think I might have done that to that guy as well. I've come, one of the reasons is I got caught once, like a few years ago, on a story like that. And then I've almost got caught probably 3 other times where I was like really close to like retweeting it or starting to work on a video. And then I like maybe I should check that a little bit closer. Yeah. So thank God I'm a critical thinker, because it usually, even when I sometimes slip, it's still there, and it I catch these things. Got fooled once, don't want to get fooled a second time. How we doing? Wow, we're approaching an hour. I don't know how long. I'm drinking energy drinks, so I'm kind of hopped up here. I'm gonna smoke one more, and then I think when I'm done that, I think I'll go. And then look for us on Monday. Not live, but we're doing the Hab Normals podcast. We're on a summer schedule. Not Hab Normals, pucking around on Monday. We're on a summer schedule, so it's every 2 weeks. What we're going to be doing over the next 4 pucking arounds is we're going to take one division at a time. We're going to look at them and try to do some kind of a season preview. You know, what they did in the off season so far, what we think they're, how they'll do next year and all that kind of stuff. So that's over the next 4. And then we're going to do a final standings predictions because we're going to be very, very close to the training camp at that point. So we're going to be doing, so that's what's coming up there. On Hab Normals, we may have a guest in Jamie Baskow, who's a Flyers beat writer, but also a closet Habs fan. So he hasn't confirmed yet. And I don't know, we're probably going to do something similar leading up to the season. I haven't decided. We haven't got that worked out yet. So that's Monday, and that'll be out on Tuesday. And then we can record Wednesday for Abnormals. That'll be out on Thursday. So look for that. Francis Labrock. Montreal should overpay a bit to get Natchez. Apparently, it looks like Carolina and Natchez might work it out. And he might not go anywhere. I don't really want Zegras or McGroarty because of it, the same. It's that entitled thing. I don't really know. It's fine. You have that opinion. All the power to you. I'm not making fun of your opinion. I don't agree with it, but they have the assets and they do. So that's definite. You're right about that without a doubt. But I think the lineup's going to be pretty sick in 2 years anyway without those guys, to be very honest. I think it will be. Yeah, I think the team, in various forms, some guys will come and go, but basically they're trying to have a contending team for like 10 years. So, but listen, I could be wrong, and we like who we like. I'm not the biggest Zegras and McGroarty fan, and like I said, Natchez, from what I'm reading, they're probably going to re-sign him there in Carolina. That's how I think. Anyway, but I don't know if I've seen you out there before, but welcome to the channel. And yeah, thanks for the comment. I appreciate it. I've seen Alex like 6 times in the comments of tweets comparing Demidov and Michkov. Yeah. I think this is going to be a thing, for their whole careers. They're going to be really close in talent. I personally think Demidov will be a little bit better than Michkov. Alex, of course, thinks it's the other way around. But he doesn't think like greatly. He, thinks they're going to be really close. Yeah, he likes to argue the point. A lot of Flyers fans don't like it when we kind of compare them anyway. So Flyers fans in general, not Alex, but Flyers fans in general just think Michkov is going to be head and shoulders above Demidov. Yeah, no. Aiken, yeah, I think that's what I should have said is that, they lost Gensel. It looks like after that happened, took them a couple of weeks, I guess. But I'm reading that they may work it out, Natchez. That now that Gensel's gone, maybe that ice time that he's looking for is there. Right? So that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing. No, I'm reading. I'm not actually hearing, but I'm reading these things. Does it mean it's true? No. It's just as likely tomorrow we find out Natchez got traded. Just as likely, but I think it makes sense for Carolina to re-sign Natchez at this point. As long as he's not looking for ridiculous money. Philly said, Michkov is or was neck and neck with Bedard, so I understand the hype. Uh, well, I mean, if that is true, and most of the experts, if not all, would agree that Demidov is, if not as unequal to Michkov, not very far behind at all. Then how far is Demidov from a Bedard? Now, I don't believe that. I think Michkov and Demidov are a little bit under what Bedard's going to be. I think Bedard has a chance to be a generational player. I don't see that in Michkov, and I'm not saying that in Demidov either. But, we won't know for another 3, 4, 5 years. I understand the hype anyway, right? You hype your players. Cool. I can't really do that here. I try not to anymore because I'm trying to be more realistic and accurate, I don't have my rose-colored glasses. They broke. Philly fans said Michkov. Okay, I see what you're saying. Listen, there's that study or that. It's not a study. I don't know what you call that, but they follow all the pre-draft age kids for 5 years till they get drafted, and they study them and watch their games and all that. So the Bedard draft, where we got Reinbacher in Switzerland, that program that has been pretty accurate apparently had Reinbacher as the second best pick in the draft. Will they be right? Maybe. We won't know for a few years. Renegade Man, I like the way you're looking at that, and I agree with that, right? The Michkov conversation should end. It should end, because even if you like Michkov and you think he might be a little bit better than Demidov, it doesn't matter, because we do have Demidov now, who's a player that's right up there with that guy. And we've got this dynamic, crazy he makes crazy moves. Like, he's going to wow you almost every game. I don't care about Michkov anymore, to be very honest. I really don't. I don't give a shit what Michkov does. I don't care. We got Demidov. Good with that. I didn't really want Michkov anyway. I wasn't a Michkov guy. But just like with Shane Wright and Slav, we got Slav. He is the best pick in that draft right now. I don't really give a shit what Wright does. I don't care what he does, really. He can come out and be great in 2 years. Like, he finally figures it out and all that. I don't give a shit. We got Slav. You feel Reinbacher being underrated in the system too. I think a lot of people are underrating him, Habs fans, which is fine. He'll get here. He'll prove them wrong. I'm good with that. I'm sure he is too. Excuse me. Reinbacher's game's not flashy. That's number one. It's not at all. You're never gonna watch him and go, "Wow." Well, maybe the odd time, but in general, he's not flashy. He won't put up 96 points or 95 points, but that's not his game. What his game is he stops plays in the defensive end. He's a shutdown defenseman, and he's a puck-moving defenseman at the same time. Not an offensive defenseman, but a puck mover. He's that two-way defenseman who shines a little bit more in the defensive zone, but he moves the puck and gets the puck out of there and to the forwards, while they're moving. He's really good in those areas, but no, he's not flashy. It was never part of his game. It doesn't mean he's not a great pick, and he's not potentially the second best pick in that draft. That's still a possibility. Aiken, if you're saying Reinbacher's game is subtle, yeah, I mean that's the way you could kind of you could describe it. Why compare a defenseman with a forward? And you're right, it's hard to do, right? But you can compare talent level, though, right? And if you ask me, sorry, Reinbacher is in that same talent level as a Michkov or a Demidov. I'm not saying as a Bedard, so don't come at me with that. But I think as those guys, I think Reinbacher's in that tier. And we won't know if that is right or wrong until he's had 5 years of professional hockey that we can look back and see how he developed. Renegade Man, but those people, don't you think the people who are pissed that we didn't draft Michkov, now that we've drafted Demidov, and it was clear that Montreal wanted Demidov over Michkov. Hughes said it as much, and that was before the draft. Not like at the draft they said, but before last year's draft, they had decided that they wanted Demidov over Michkov, and they would go for Reinbacher instead. Not that they knew they would get Demidov, of course. I'm not saying they knew, but that they would, make that attempt. You should stop with we could have had. They're saying now we could have had both Michkov and Demidov. Who says that if they drafted Michkov last year, then at 5th, do you think they're drafting Demidov? Probably not. They probably would have drafted Iginla and had a different look or whatever, right? So, yeah, I think some fans will never be happy. They're always looking at the next guy, the next sexy player. Let's get rid of the other guy now. Let's get this. But then you're never going to win anything. You got to get those talents in and then develop them and not always change them over for the next talent. Because then you got to develop that guy and you're just falling back again. That's how I see it. But what do I know? What do I know? I'm just some schmuck here on YouTube. Well, as we near the end, anyway, I'm very proud of you guys in not bringing up more than needed to be the news of what happened this afternoon in the U.S. I'm kind of proud of that. I didn't want to have to be talking about it much, so thanks. I appreciate that, actually. Even though now I'm bringing it up, but we're not going to talk about it. But that's really good. I thought this would be dominated by that for some reason. Anyways, we got another about 5 minutes or so. What say you guys? Oh, I don't know why I've got the orange name there. It should be red. I forgot to change back. We were filming. Oh, yeah. We were filming the interview. So I don't know if you guys have watched pre-draft. I did a video compilation, I guess you call that, of draft hopes for all of us guys here on Talking Habs and DPWM. It did pretty good. So now that the draft is over, I've done another one, how it went, how they felt, and this and that. I've got 2 more interviews to do, and then I've got to edit it, and that'll be coming out. So check that out if you're interested in that. I thought it was fun. It was fun to do, and watching it, I mean, even though I edited it, I could still say I thought it came across pretty good. I liked the one I did on the other channel, though, better. But I'm going to do there's going to be 2 videos of this, but they're going to be very different. Not completely, but very different in content. And because I got a lot of content from everybody so far. So it's going to be fun. So just check that out. I'm just trying to think of what to talk about as we wind our way out of here. Can the Leafs get better next season? I think the Leafs are a little bit better next season. I'll tell you the truth. I'm hoping I'm wrong here. But I think they added Okay, I think what's his name now? The defenseman there. Can't remember his name all of a sudden. I think that was a good signing for a year or two, but I don't think the rest of that contract. But for the year or two, that's the kind of defenseman they need. I think they did a little better there. Goaltending, they've improved, right? You got Wall signed for 3 years, and they got Stolars for 2. I think that's improved over what they had. So I think they improved there in spots they needed to. Where I think they're going to have a problem is going to be in the locker room. I think there's going to be a lot of problems in the locker room. Can Craig Berube handle that and straighten that out and not have it affect their on ice? I don't know. But I think overall, yeah, they're going to be a little bit better. They should be. Do I think they're going to win anything? I worry this. If my prediction is right, they will not be taking on either Florida or Boston for the first round. And I think the team I've got there is beatable by them and they could win a round. That's my fear. But boy, do I hope I'm wrong. That's one prediction I really hope is wrong. So, but hey, we see it as we see it, and only in hindsight do we realize what idiots we were to make a prediction sometimes. Hearing Draisaitl's contract extension will be the same kind of numbers as U-turn. I would think so. I would think Draisaitl is going to get a lot of money wherever he ends up. Gotta figure, though, the Oilers don't want to let that guy walk. So, I can't. I gotta figure Edmonton is in a playoff run next year. Not trading him at the deadline because he's an expiring contract. You know what I mean? They probably have no choice. They're going to have to sign Draisaitl again. And yeah, he's going to get big numbers. And deservedly so. Right? Deservedly so. And I'd give him that kind of money 100,000 times before I'd give U-turn that kind of money. U-turn, by the way, is Austin Matthews over in Toronto. One of the problems in Toronto could be that they strip Tavares of the captaincy and give it to Matthews. And who knows how that's going to be in the locker room, Good for them. Marner, if he doesn't waive, who knows how that goes. If he waives and they send him out when he didn't want to go, his friends in the locker room could, who knows how that's going to go there. And it's Toronto, so it's probably going to go bad. For me, who loves to make fun of the Leafs, I hope it goes bad because you can't write that stuff. You can't. So I hope that's how it works out. For the good Leafs fans, the ones that come in here, I hope it works out well for them. Hey, Lucas. Lucas, sometimes notifications don't go out like that. It happens. It's not something I'm going to get upset about because I know notifications go out. When I put out a video, I can see which views were from notifications. So I can see that they do go out. But sometimes they get screwed up. They don't completely go out. They go out late. But it's one of those things you learn about YouTube. And you learn when and how to post. But, sometimes you can't help it. I apologize, though, on behalf of YouTube. It's not my fault, but, yeah. Just remember, though, in general, it's every Saturday in the off-season, and it's at 8 o'clock. Unless there's something that happened and I can't do 8 o'clock, it's at 8 o'clock. The reason for that is exactly for why I'm telling you, because you get used to it. And then, if you want to watch it this week, well, you go 8 o'clock, it registers in time, If Renegade Man was a Leafs fan, thank God you're not, I'd feel bad for you if you were. I would want them to face Boston because I want a team to redeem themselves. Yeah, I don't know. Boston, I think, might be a little better than last year. I don't know if they're going to get the numbers points-wise, but I think overall a better team last year and a more formidable opponent for Toronto. If I'm Toronto, I don't want to touch Boston. I don't want to touch Florida. I don't care about redemption. If I'm a Toronto fan, I don't give a shit about redemption. I just want to see a win in a playoff series and hopefully a cup. I mean, that's it. I don't care about which teams they are. I wouldn't care about any of that. Fuck redemption. Just give me a series win or two. That's how I'd be. But again, I'd never in a million years be a Leafs fan. With teams such as Washington, can I spit? Cap-friendly pieces of garbage. And Toronto being well over the salary cap, how are they able to hold on or sign new players? You're allowed to go 10 million over the 10% over the cap in the offseason. But remember, they got LTIR money, which they're allowed to use, right? And that doesn't, so they still have that 10%, which is 8.8 million, and they can still use the LTIR money to bring that down. So that's what they're doing. So when you look at it and go, oh man, they're really far over, but you're not maybe considering LTIR money. And then when you do add that up and go, oh yeah, so they're under the 10%. Because they can only go 10% over in the offseason. And by midnight of the first game, midnight the night before, they have to be at 12:01. They have to be under the cap. BL, it's on DPWM because we changed it to the acronym, but it's not good to search that. You're going to get a ton of rap videos. Search it under Don't Puck with Media. Don't search it under DPWN. But yeah, Don't Puck with Media. And yeah, you're going to get it there. Go on the channel, go to videos, and it's the last video that's been uploaded there. Washington should enjoy PLD and his contract. I think that brings them down a bit. First of all, I don't think Ovi can really what's the word I'm looking for? Wait. Move the needle like he could, right? So I don't think Ovi's going to move the needle like they'll need him to. I think PLD is not great in the locker room unless he goes, well, I really love it here in Washington. And yeah, I have Washington finishing low. All right, well, we're pretty much at the end here. If anyone wants to get a last-minute question, comment, statement, tell me I'm a freaking lunatic, I don't know what I'm talking, whatever you want to do, now's the time. And don't worry, I got thick skin. And I spit all over myself. But I've got thick skin, and yeah, I can handle it. Maybe he finally realized he's been the problem and does better. Listen, it could happen. I don't think it'll happen over there. I don't think it'll happen with him. But, yeah, maybe he looks in the mirror and finally goes, maybe it is me. I don't think so, though. His ego probably won't allow that. I'm not saying he's got this huge ego, but he's got some ego. Obviously, he's got some attitude thing. Or he was a flash in the pan. Good for a few years. Went downhill pretty quick. That's a possibility with him. It happens to some players. Maybe he's one of those. But I don't think it was the only good thing for them, sure, they got rid of Kemper, but they did get a good goalie back in Logan Thompson. And when I did my video, I kind of, I don't think I had Thompson as the goalie there, so I forgot about that. Will it help them? I don't know. if it'll make them better than I think they're going to be. You're welcome there, Joe. Thanks for dropping in. I always appreciate you dropping in. Got to have my Australian person in the room. Got to have it. It doesn't seem like it's a live stream without having you drop by. Renegade Man, I think that's what they're trying to get for him. I think it's why Montreal didn't. If it's true that they were interested and they made that offer of what I hear, Harris, Barron, and the Calgary pick next year, the first round, and apparently not enough. So that means, they're probably asking for a lot. Because you know what? I think they know that they just have to wait a little bit. Somebody will give them what they want or close enough to it, and they don't have to move them right now. And, I think that's why they're just waiting for that either time to run out towards training camp or the right offer to come in. All right, I'm going to do one more. If there's one more out there, that's going to be the last one. If not, I'll say goodbye, and then I'll go eat supper. And then we'll be back on. Don't forget Monday. We're recording the Pucking Around podcast, so it'll be out on Tuesday on Don't Puck with Media. Please look for it there. It doesn't get nearly enough views. I'm trying to build an audience there. Would love it if you guys would help us out. All right, then. That's going to do it for this week. Thanks for being here, everybody. I really appreciate it. Please check out my videos that just came out. One coming out tomorrow. Habs draft pick report card. I give all 10 picks a grade and give you what I found out about them. So you might find that interesting. And that's it. I got nothing else to say. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And that's it. Peace out. Stay safe out there till next time. What's for supper? Nothing interesting. Hot dogs and French fries. Not really nothing interesting tonight. I don't feel like cooking, and it's going to be good enough. The good hot dogs and all that is good, but I still really feel like cooking. So there you go. Have a good one, everybody. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for being around, all your regulars. I appreciate it. And the new people that were in tonight. Thank you. Appreciate that. And I'm going to stop talking. The energy drink, what can I say? Have a good one tonight, everybody. That's it. Ciao. I'm not going to say any more. Ciao, everybody. If I could find my cursor, that would be nice too.